today for a special reason, and I'll tell you about that later on. As she said, my name is Wanda Johnson, and I'm a library associate at the West Regional Branch of the Mobile Public Library, which is located on Greenlawn. And I know some of you have been in there. I recognize your faces. I work most of the time in the children's room. Every once in a while they make me go into the adult area, but my home base is in the children's room. And then the other thing I do is what I'm doing today. I go out into schools and I talk about the library and share some things. Now, when I'm not at the library, I have a second career that I have a lot of fun with. I really am a professional storyteller, and I've traveled throughout the Southeast and had a lot of fun. So when I hold this book up to start reading to you today, those of you who are very close to me and you see that the words are not really the words that are on the page, you'll know that the reason that is because once I start, that storyteller comes out in me and I just take off. So it may not be exactly what's on the page. I'll start going from more reading to telling, although today I may do more reading. So this is my first group for September, and so I'm trying it out on you. I thought we'd talk about plants, about fruits and vegetables at this time of the year in the fall. It's the planting season, that kind of thing. That's what my books are going to be generating around. And this is called Grandma Lena's Big Old Turnip. Now, it really is a Russian folk tale, but this has more of a southern flair to it because I really like this one. So, the whole thing started when Grandma Lena decided to grow turnips in her backyard. With her reading glasses perched on her nose. I like that because that's when my mama, when she got upset with me, if she did this, I knew I was in trouble. All winter, and she studied her seed catalog, hoping to find just the right kind of plant. Grandma chuckled all the time at the fancy names. There was white knights and scarlet queens and royal crowns and white lady. She finally decided on a turnip called Purple Top. After all, purple was her favorite. All right. See, that's what I like about fourth grade. You know, by the time they get to fifth grade, they think they're too good to do stuff like that and participate. But you know, it's fun. When spring arrived and the ground was soft enough for digging, Grandma Lena planted the tiny seeds, and she didn't worry that the air was still nifty. She knew the turnips liked cold weather. Soon the tiny plants popped out of the ground. For the next month, Grandma Lena watered and weeded her turnip plants every day. Hey, Lena, Uncle Isaac, this is Adora, but I'm going to say Izzy. Uncle Izzy teased, I hope you taught those turnips how to swim. You're watering them so much, I'm afraid they're going to drown. Grandma Lena grunted and said what she always said, anything worth doing is worth doing right. Words to live by. On the first day of June, Grandma Lena stepped into her garden to find the biggest, fattest, most gigantic turnip she'd ever laid her eyes on. What a fine turnip stew it will make, she thought. It's enough to feed half of the town. From the front porch, Baby Pearl stared at the turnip and with her eyes big, and she said, big potato, and she giggled. All right. Grandma Lena took hold of that enormous turnip stems and leaves, and she yanked and she jerked and she tugged, but that big old turnip just would not, can you say budge? All right, so when I get to that part, that big old turnip just would not budge. Carl, Grandma Carl, put down that newspaper and help me pull this big old turnip. Now, am I bothering whoever with my hand doing this? Is this Do I need to put it on the back of me or something?
Okay, okay. She's good.
Put down the newspaper and help me pull up this big old turnip. So Grandma took off her reading glasses. Grandpa took off his reading glasses, and then Grandpa pulled, while Grandma pulled and yanked and tugged, but that big old turnip just would not budge. Now, if you're reading to your baby sisters and brothers, this is the type of books you want to read because you can get them involved. See, you can get them started. You're teaching them as they're going. Izzy, Grandma yelled, stop eating up my peach jam and help me pull this big old turnip. Uncle Izzy wiped his mouth, came running. Uncle Izzy pulled, Grandpa pulled, Grandma pulled. They all yanked and jerked, but that big old turnip just would not budge. Daddy, Grandma yelled, put that baby down and help me pull this big old turnip. Aunt Nettie gave baby Pearl a toy, came running. Nettie pulled, Uncle Izzy pulled, Grandpa pulled, Grandma pulled. They yanked, they jerked, they tugged, but that big old turnip just would not budge. Rascal, Grandma hollered, put down that bone and come help me pull. What do you think Rascal is? A dog. Rascal dropped his chew bone, came running, then Rascal pulled, and Nettie pulled, and Nettie pulled on Uncle Izzy pulled on that Grandma, Grandpa pulled on Grandmama, but with all that yanking and jerking and pulling, that big old turnip just would not budge. Baby Pearl came toddling over with her diaper half undone. Shame on us, said Grandma, we forgot about Pearl. Baby Pearl pointed and said, big old potato. Stand back, Pearl, warned Grandma. I'm going to haul this turnip out if it's the last thing I do. So everybody pulled. And all the confusion, no one noticed that baby Pearl was holding on to Rascal's tail. Then Rascal clamped onto Nettie and Aunt Nettie, and she clamped onto Uncle Izzy, and Uncle Izzy grabbed onto Grandpa and Grandma, and they pulled tight, and with the baby's help, that big old turnip came on out. Pop out of the ground at last, with dirt flying in all directions. The big old turnip burst out of the ground, and the whole family fell in a pile behind it. Baby Pearl clamped and said, "Woo!" Now that the sun was setting, everyone went to bed exhausted, but Grandma Lena stayed up late at night. That's how my mama was. She washed and chopped the turnip greens, put them in the pot with some onions and bacon, and cooked them until they were nice and tender. After that, she chopped up the giant turnip plant. Now, I had some friends that moved down south. They had a garden, and they had planted some turnips. They would take and throw the greens to the side and use the bottom. I said, no, down here in the south, we use the whole thing, the tops and the bottoms. So she made turnip casserole, turnip fries, and pickled turnips. Then she made turnip stew with potatoes, carrots, and peas. What would turnip stew be without some cornbread? You know about that. So she baked up a big pan of muffins. The next day, Grandma Lena invited all her friends and neighbors to help fill in the hole, and they shared delicious turnip dishes. Half the town showed up with shovels and spades. Some brought jugs of cool apple cider and lemony tea cakes to share. It was the biggest party since the last year's 4th of July, and everyone agreed that this was the best meal they'd had in a long time. People joked about Grandma Lena's, what are you going to plant next year? It'll be big, one neighbor said. Lena doesn't do anything halfway. Do you remember what her slogan was? Anything worth doing is worth doing right. How about that? So like I said, I like this version of it because I can see a lot of my aunts and uncles in it and all those different things. How many of y'all still have big family parties where they come on with all those different dishes and everything? Yeah, that's the Southern way. I'm here today because